here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, everybody. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. How we sounding, Mr. Producer? We sound good. I'd say we sound great. I want to thank my buddy Brian Sussman for filling in yesterday as I had some family business to attend to. And here we are, and all this talk about the memorial for Nelson Mandela in South Africa and Obama conducting himself in a reckless manner because that's what he does, for which he's cheered on by the lib media. Honestly, I was surprised that Obama and Raul Castro didn't exchange spit. Really. We all know Obama has an affinity toward these totalitarian regimes. I'm not surprised in the least. And he's bowing to them and shaking their hands. Almost the bigger the gulags that they have, the more deference he gives them. And I was thinking about this, and I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it because, folks, here's the truth. No one will remember what Obama said in South Africa. We don't even remember what he said today, and he said it today. No one will remember much about that memorial other than it was for Mandela. So take that to heart. But I was thinking, when Obama leaves office, there won't be tens of millions of people newly freed from behind the Iron Curtain or under the thumb of some third world dictator and so forth, as they were under Reagan and Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher was responsible for, along with John Paul II and Ronald Reagan and Helmut Kohl, the freedom of over 100 million people behind the Iron Curtain. And with Reagan also in our own hemisphere, in toto. Obama won't be involved in any such movements. In fact, I dare say more people will be imprisoned and enslaved when he leaves office than before he came to office. And it's a disgrace, as I said maybe 2 weeks ago, but certainly last week, how our government, the Obama administration, treated the passing of Margaret Thatcher, who was responsible for the freedom of more people than any of Obama's favorite leaders or what have you. Absolute disgrace. And there they are, clowning it up, acting goofy in the stands, in the cheap seats. Just ridiculous. I listened to Obama for about 14 seconds, and there he was again. What effect Mandela had on him. That started with the I. I said, that's enough. I don't need to hear this crap. And I didn't. And I'm not playing any of the clips either. Because I don't care what he said. Doesn't matter to me. It doesn't affect my life, nor yours. One thing that did happen there that should draw our attention, at least to a point, as pointed out in the White House dossier website, when former President Bush, George W. Bush, when his face appeared on the video monitor at the memorial in Johannesburg, he was booed. He was booed according to the White House poll report, which cited local press outlets. Now, the images of Obama and his wife popped up. There were 30-second deafening roar, the poll writer wrote. George W. Bush did more for South Africa and Africa, period, than Barack Obama has ever done. Obama's better at crafting his public image and saying the right things. Bush personally saved the lives of millions of South Africans with his President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, or PEPFAR, ensuring AIDS drugs are available to South Africans' impoverished masses. And he's booed. He's booed. The Washington Compost talked about the success of this program. It said that in South Africa, it was extraordinary. AIDS killed roughly 2.3 million in South Africa, once one of the worst affected countries in the world, and orphaned about 1 million children there, according to the UN. Today, rates of infection have fallen to 30%, and nearly 2 million people are on antiviral drugs. Meanwhile, Obama has cut this program and generally has been customarily inattentive to it, as the Washington Post essentially reported. He's cheered, Bush is booed, the media's slobbering all over Obama, nothing has changed, and it's not going to change. So why punish yourselves? I'm not going to spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours on this program going over what went on over there, because I don't care. It makes no difference in our lives, and frankly, no difference in anybody's life. It's like the Super Bowl of funeral memorials over there. They're all having a grand old time and slapping each other on the back. Looked like Obama was hitting on that, whatever she was sitting next to him, didn't it, Mr. Producer? Look, I'm just calling it straight. I'm not saying he was, but good Lord, it sure looked like it. It looked like Michelle thought so, too. So I'm standing with Michelle on this one. What is it? Pictures have 1,000 words? Well, that one certainly did, in my humble opinion. All right, so I've spent exactly... Yeah, I love... There are broadcasters that say what they're not going to talk about, and then they talk about it for 2 hours. I'm done with it. I think I've spent 7 minutes on it. And I don't even want any calls on this. But I was minding my own business the other day, a day or two ago, and I come across this piece in bizjournals.com, and I post it on my social sites, and my posting it on my social site sends the thing viral. Because when you add my Facebook followers to my Twitter folks, we have almost 1 million, don't we, Mr. Producer? Close. Now, Colin Powell. I don't know if anybody's talked about this. I don't much care. I haven't talked about it. Colin Powell, calling for universal health care in the United States. Why? Well, it works for him. I guess he goes to the VA. He had prostate cancer, was taken care of. His wife had a number of illnesses. She was taken care of. And if it works for him and his wife, well, what the hell? It ought to work for the whole country. And, of course, we all know that the VA hospital system is clogged. It's backed up by hundreds of thousands of brave men and women trying to seek treatment. This is what he says. He says, we're a wealthy enough country. I always love this line. We are a wealthy enough country. And somehow that line gives power, confers power on politicians and bureaucrats to take more and more control over our society because we're a wealthy enough country. We're a wealthy enough country having nothing to do with them. And we're becoming a poorer and poorer country as a result. We are a wealthy enough country with the capacity to make sure that every one of our fellow citizens has access to quality health care, he said. This was at a Seattle fundraiser for prostate cancer. Let's show the rest of the world what our democratic system is all about and how we take care of all of our citizens. General Powell, I want to salute you for your military service. But boy, when you step outside that, your ignorance is just remarkable to me. All you have to do, folks, and many of you have, is go on the internet and look at the National Health Service in Britain. It is a disaster. The number of people who are maimed and killed in the most preposterous ways as a result of a bureaucracy run amok is inhumane. Same with so much of the rest of Europe. Same with Canada, for that matter. It's absolutely outrageous that Colin Powell doesn't do basic research to figure out what the hell he's talking about and instead projects his experience and his wife Alma's experience onto the rest of the nation. Well, we're rich enough. Hey, General, can I tell you something else? We have $90 trillion in unfunded obligations. And next year it's going to tick to $100 trillion. Medicare is unsustainable. Medicaid's unsustainable. Obamacare, our newest disaster, is a disaster. And in the face of all this, Colin Powell's saying we're a wealthy enough country, we ought to have this single-payer system. Says, I'm not an expert in health care. That's never stopped him before. Or Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act, or however you choose to describe it. But I know this. I've benefited from that kind of universal health care in my 55 years in public life. And I don't see why we don't do what Europe is doing, what Canada is doing, what Korea is doing, what all these other places are doing. I see why, because it doesn't work properly. And while the trajectory of history, the trajectory of mankind, is toward centralized government, is toward tyranny, he should be proud that our country, at least up until now, has rejected this kind of governance. Is he missing all the stories today? The people with cancer who can't get treatment? The parents with little kids who can't get treatment? They're all over the damn place. How does Powell miss this?